Hey, Click on Detroit. I'm Lauren Podell here in the Local 4 News studio, joined by Kevin Grigg from the Pistons and Palace organization. And boy, it is a huge weekend for the Pistons. 4 OTs last night. We've got Brandon Jennings picking things up in the D League, and obviously Pistons season of giving is in full swing. So let's start there. Thanks so much for being here, Kevin.
No problem.
Let's start a little bit. Let's talk about Sunday and what we can expect from the Pistons. They're going to be going off the court doing a little shopping here.
Yeah, we're actually doing our final community event in our sort of week-long season of giving. We have Reggie Jackson, Marcus Morris, Stanley Johnson, Joel Anthony, and
a couple of other guys,
Anthony
right?
Tolliver. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're going to go to Meyer over on Grand River with 20 kids from the Yatuma Foundation for a shopping spree, Christmas shopping spree.
And this is a little bit of a surprise, though, right? These kids do they know that they're going to be going shopping with some of the biggest names?
Yeah, they know. From our understanding, these are kids that have lost a loved one.
Yeah.
So, so it will help make their Christmas a little more special.
Right, right. And talk to me about season of giving. I mean, we know the Pistons and the Palace organization does so much throughout the year, but really this last week, you've been focusing a lot on giving back.
It did. It actually started last Sunday with Brandon Jennings hosting 50 kids at Dave & Buster's for a day of fun. And then on Monday, our owner, Tom Gores, did his Detroit Toys for Tots event, where between Detroit, Flint, Saginaw, Port Huron, and Bay City, he donated over 7,000 toys to kids in Michigan. Wow. And he's been doing it for many years, but really the last two he's kind of come up publicly, and we've done events in Detroit and Flint.
Talk to me about these players. They're going to be teaming up with these kids, walking the aisles of Meyer. What a sight is that going to be to see these big basketball NBA stars, picking out Hot Wheels and games and Barbies for some of these kids.
Yeah, it's fun for the kids, but I think it's actually more fun for our players because they get to be involved in the community, enhance the lives of these children for one day.
Right, right. It's something that they're going to remember for quite some time.
It is.
Okay, now, of course, we can't have you in and not talk about Friday night's big game. Record-breaking for the Pistons. Pretty much the entire organization. What's going through your mind? I feel like this has probably got to be a tiring morning for you as well.
Yeah, you know what? It was a lot of fun. First quadruple overtime game in our franchise history. We had 4 other triple overtime games. This was the first quadruple overtime game. You look at Andre Drummond, he goes for 30-plus points, 20-plus rebounds. First Piston since Dennis Rodman to do that in 1991.
Crazy.
And then you look at Reggie Jackson. He scored 13 of his 31 in that final overtime period to kind of help us ice the game. And, Marcus Morris came up big, Stanley Johnson. You go down the list, and, those guys were all dead tired by the end. They gave everything they had.
Team effort, though.
Big time. These guys are kind of, there's good cohesion in this group, led by Stan, and we feel like we're definitely a team that's sort of on the upswing and on the rise.
Talk about what 4 OTs means. I mean, for a franchise, for these players, for fans. I mean, what does that tell you about the players we've got on our team right now?
Well, these are tough-minded guys. I mean, we had, I want to say, 4 guys play over 50 minutes in the game. And, when you go into Chicago, they've been a playoff team, and you're able to grind one out like that, that's a big win that can carry you through other games as we go into the season and continue to build momentum.
Because the Bulls, they're kind of a young, scrappy team themselves. I mean, they're doing pretty well this season, right?
Well, yeah, they've been a playoff team the last couple of years, and one of the East top teams. So, and they have experience. You look at Derrick Rose, Pau Gasol, Jimmy Butler, that's an experienced team. So for us to go in there and play the way we did, it just continues the momentum that we've been building.
And it's so great because you've got this big, crazy game that everyone just watched that happened on Friday. Then a lot of those top core players going to be going out with kids on Sunday.
Yeah.
But in between all of that, kind of a highlight for a lot of really, intense, hardcore Pistons fans is the Development League game that's happening Saturday, tonight, with Brandon Jennings. Come on, bring him back, right?
Well, it is. You know, it's funny because our owner Tom Gores really pushed for us to enter a hybrid relationship with the development league, and really was key and instrumental in bringing a team to the Grand Rapids area. So, and it's a great, useful tool for us, and especially in this case, Brandon can continue his rehab with an assignment down with the D-League team to, prepare to make his comeback to the Pistons.
Grand Rapids Drive taking on the Iowa Energy tonight. Explain to folks why this is such a big deal to see Jennings back out on the court after, how long has he been out?
Well, he's been out, it was last February.
Okay, so almost a year then.
So, yeah,
How pivotal is this?
Well, it's big because, obviously he was playing some of the best basketball of his career last year when he got injured.
Right.
And, to have that coming back to your lineup, and, it'll be a process.
Right. This is just a first step.
Exactly. This is the first step in him getting back, so it'll take a little bit of time for him to get his wind, to get game ready. But, it'll be interesting and exciting to see, what he can do once he's completely ready and is back with us.
You're going to be going out to Grand Rapids to check him out. What will you look for? What will the team look for? What will Jennings be hoping to accomplish tonight during tonight's D-League game?
Well, Stan said it earlier, talking to some of our writers that cover us at practice. He's not even worried about what Brandon does in the game. He just wants to see Brandon going up and down the floor. So from a game standpoint, you're not really interested in his stats or anything. You just want to see the comfort level in which he's playing defense, the comfort level in which he's initiating the offense, and just sort of getting back into some sort of game shape.
I know.